in Miami, but I gotta tell you, the fans have really shown up for the heat.
Let's be honest here. I like burgers.
I like burgers too. Don't worry about it. We're in this together.
Yes.
Many of us love going out to eat, and it feels especially good when you support a business that also does good for others.
So like any good Cuba Rican, I had to take up this Houston native on a quick dance break.
Oh, good job! And no place is quite like Vicky Bakery, but it's not just the pastelitos that make this place sweet.
That is very cool.
Then later it becomes beer.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
Glad I don't have to do it. So what makes you really so passionate about this?
But you know, I can't leave you without a fun fact. So it's called the Artemis because in Greek mythology, Artemis is actually the twin sister of Apollo.
Music, please.
All right, bend your knees, bump to the right, to the left.
With vodka.
Say less. And what's that?
So of course I had to have him teach me these moves.
You getting it?
I think so.
He didn't miss a beat, but I'm a bit rusty.
How am I doing?
You're doing perfect. I see you.
In New York, you have places like bodegas, but here in Miami, we have bakeries. And no place is quite like Vicky Bakery, but it's not just the pastelitos that make this place sweet. When you think of Miami flavors, a Cuban bakery may come to mind, and no one does it quite like Vicky Bakery.
Well, Vicky Bakery was founded by my parents, Elasia and Antonio, back in 1972.
Humble beginnings turned into one of the most popular bakeries in South Florida, and that old-time feel hasn't changed.
We've been around for 50 years. You can come and you still feel the same way you did when your grandmother brought you. That's what we want. That's what we see our employees treat our customers like.
But tucked away in their Hialeah location is something far more popular than what's inside the glass case. It's actually the person behind the counter. Meet Odalis Ortiz, just tall enough to see her smile to customers. She's been working at this very shop for more than 35 years.
I'm passionate at it. It's my safe haven.
Odalis was born in Cuba and came to the United States when she was just 19 years old. She never really thought she'd work in a bakery, but jumped at the opportunity and hasn't left since.
If somebody comes here and says, would you recommend any other place? I've never been anywhere else, sir.
And talk about loyal. Over the years, she has done every job here, but her favorite thing to do is talk to people.
Odalis in this location is basically a legacy. People call in here day and night and only want to talk to Odalis. She knows their parents, she knows their kids, she knows their grandkids.
She is family. She is family.
During our time there, she knew nearly every customer by name, and she's proud of that.
We are in the business of making people happy and making their dreams come true.
You can see Odalis' approach to work has always been a little different than the norm.
With open arms. I never felt like I was coming a day of work. I felt like I was coming home.
It's an interesting concept to see work as an extension of yourself. So imagine her surprise when the bosses wanted to highlight her work for Employee Appreciation Day.
I was like, oh my God, it couldn't be little me that they're highlighting.
Why? You've been here for 35 years.
But I do it. I don't do it because I do it because it's my giving thing, not because I have to, because I love it.
A giving thing, something we can all strive to do. When you meet Edith Deletto Van Cherry,
my favorite thing to do was play poker.
you probably wouldn't think this lady likes to drink her scotch straight, or that her favorite thing to eat is rare steak and spaghetti, but almost definitely you wouldn't be able to guess her age.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm going to be 100, but then I do because I forget a lot.
But what she does remember is nothing short of amazing. Edith was born in New Jersey in 1923, enlisted in the Army to be a nurse at just 20 years old. Now keep in mind, she stood tall at 4'11" and a half.
I was a half inch too short, so I had to sign a waiver.
It was World War II. She was based in India and remembers caring for wounded soldiers like it was yesterday.
He was in my arms. And he looked up at me and he smiled and he died. And that was a pretty bad day.
After 2 years of being a nurse, the war ended. So she got married, moved to Hialeah, and had 4 wonderful kids who've had kids and great-grandkids. Edith stayed being a nurse for years. But there was something else that truly made her heart beat.
So I also hear that you're a big sports fan.
A Miami Dolphins sports fan, to be exact. She's seen every game for decades. Edith says she's their #1 fan, and who can really argue with that? Who's that dashing young man?
That's Dan Marino, my idol.
So for her birthday, we reached out to some former Dolphins players.
Hello, Edith. Nat Moore here.
It's Kimbo Camper, 100 years old. Congratulations.
And I just want to wish you a happy birthday.
What do you think?
Oh my God.
We spent hours with Edith and her family, going from story to story that's shaped her for almost a century.
I've had a wonderful, wonderful life.
Her advice to the younger generations?
Just be fair to yourself and just see good in everybody.
She says a century's worth of wisdom is to always live in the moment.